Hey everybody, it is your IGN Xbox / Podcast Unlock team. The three of us here today. This week's Spartan Ops episode of Halo 4, Episode 7 was so good that we had to get all three of us in to spread the love versus some of the hate we've been raining on some of the more recent episodes, although not last week.
No,
the first
week
half
was
of the
good.
Season. So, Mitch Dyer, hi.
Hi.
And Destin Legary, hello.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome,
So,
Destin.
hey. Spartan Ops getting real good.
Yes. Oh, man.
Seriously, this week's Episode 7, I don't know if, I know 7 is a Bungie thing, but it seems to have carried over to 343, because Episode 7 is fantastic. Story-wise, Mitch, where are we at?
So, Catherine Halsey has, she tried to make a little bit of an escape, or a little bit of, try to cause a little bit of a fuss to control over Roland.
She found, like, the code word for the AI.
She must have had some kind of, like, creative control over Roland, in addition to Cortana, because she was able to kind of circumvent his programming, get a control of him, get a little business done on Infinity before getting caught by... Roland came back, he caught her, and then she got in trouble. So she's locked up again.
And what's awesome is she finds out, you know, this is set after the events of Halo 4. She finds out that John, that Master Chief, is alive.
Which she did not know, apparently. I didn't know that.
And she's really pissed that she
was
didn't know that.
really not cool with...
not happy.
With that captain, no. So that leaves our Crimson team. You know, they were still down on Requiem. They caused a little trouble down on Requiem in the first episode, or Chapter 1. Which was awesome.
Well, yeah, because Destin, you were really high on that episode. I was too, because it gave me some Halo 1 vibes.
Totally.
Because of the just vast, like earthy, blue sky, oceany landscape.
Big green landscape.
And what was it about that mission there? I should say that chapter 1 of Episode 7. That you liked more, that resonated with you more than the rest of this whole series?
So I watched the intro cutscene. I know they're under attack, and I felt like, oh shit, I need to get there, and I need to stop this attack from happening. Like, you're actually making a difference in the story now, and they kind of like tied the two together, and that's why I liked it so much.
Well, that and we actually failed it the first time.
Yeah.
There is a fail state that is in that mission. You have to defend your rogue Phantom that we stole in the previous episode.
That's another thing. It ties into the previous chapter. You know, you remember you stole that thing, you were flying around in it, and now you have to protect it. Yeah, it's kind of
from
cool.
a different
Coming
perspective.
Full circle.
They're doing a really good job. Like there's cohesion between the narrative and the gameplay now in ways just like that, right? Like we're seeing the effects of our actions in the gameplay, in the story. It's being people are talking about what we've done. Like that's such a small thing, but in the context of Spartan Ops, it is so necessary. That's what it was missing.
It was cool. You're on this seaside cliff, or at least that's where you come to, and you have to defend your stolen Phantom, and you get one Mantis, not 4 if there are 4 of you, not 3, just 1. So you have to pick and choose, and everybody plays a different role, which is also different than the previous episodes, because usually if there's one Mantis, there's 4 of them for all of you, or
and they respawn infinitely.
Exactly, and so that was not the case here.
Once it's gone, it's gone,
and that really made it more significant. I thought.
Totally agree. Also, the other thing Spartan Ops was missing that this fixed for me was totally sweet jumps. Because you could just, I mean, this is the one that ends with like the Phantom on the edge of the cliff, right? And you like leap onto it.
No, you just go up in the thing. You go up in the green thing.
No,
okay. I'm thinking of something else.
Mitch.
Okay.
Yeah, stop that.
Maybe we'll get there.
So then we do get up to, we board our Phantom, we get back to the ship, and there was even a cutscene, an in-engine cutscene leading into Mission 2.
Love seeing
Chapter 2, where it was like, the AI, I think it was Roland, was like, the ship can't discern your Phantom from the rest, so your Infinity shoots you down, and you come crashing into the landing bay, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, that was great. Like you get to actually be on the Infinity, see what it's like on there, and it's a new setting also, all new setting.
It's not even like a new Requiem setting, right? Like it's like, okay, now you're in space. You're totally somewhere else, and it feels really awesome to not only be somewhere else, but to be on Infinity and to have to defend it from this assault.
And the entire time you have that feeling of like, I need to protect this as much as possible.
Yeah, and that Chapter 2, when you first arrive in the hangar bay, it really reminded me of that first mission in Halo 2, where the Covenant are pouring in, and you're having to fend them off. This gave me total Halo 2 vibes, which always makes me happy.
We got Halo 1 vibes, we got Halo 2 vibes. What's next?
Just more good vibes, but not game-specific ones.
Yeah, there were a lot of really great encounters in this on Infinity, especially as you come back through in the final chapter and you start replaying the entire the entire episode again.
Yeah.
Because you're basically revisiting environments you've already played through and doing cool encounters again. And it's one of the few instances where I'm totally okay with repeating areas because the encounters are awesome in this
And new
episode.
things are happening in those areas.
Right, like you're coming across crawlers in the big gun bay on the way out versus on the way in. It was just elites and hunters.
And humans have set up defenses and stuff.
Yeah, you come across dudes like manning chain guns. You can give them your weapons. Like I gave a Marine a fuel rod, and he was tearing it up in that like death hole hallway.
Yeah, I believe it was Chapter 4, where it was just a massive bay. The ceiling, floor to ceiling, must have been 50 feet, and we start up on the perch with an array of sniper rifles, and they just start pouring in. But of course, you can't shoot them all in time. They start crowding in around you. Just a nice change of pace, and amazing that for all the fun we had this week, there were almost no vehicles. We had the Mantis, we had a little bit of Ghost, and both of those were in the first chapter.
Yeah.
No other vehicles, but yet this is by far the best episode yet.
Hands down, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm curious to see how they're going to up their game next week. Like, I don't know where we go from here, because this ended on, narratively ended on kind of a anticlimactic point where you save the ship and you're like, well, okay, now what? So where do you go? Do you go back to Requiem? Do you stay aboard Infinity and wait for the next assault? I'm curious where we're going to go.
Just keep giving me stuff where I actually care about what I'm doing.
Yes.
Like protecting Infinity, protecting Halsey.
Right, and especially in just the moment-to-moment objectives. This is the most lucid it's been. I understood what I was doing the whole time. Like, the nukes that were cloaked, we had to go find them.
Yep.
Deactivate them because Roland or Miller couldn't find them. Like, that stuff was cool.
Lots of button pressing.
Lots of button pressing, but in the context of, finally, we have context for it that's important.
Yeah.
Close the doors, lock them out, deactivate nukes, instead of, put your hand on this panel and whatever.
And another thing that made this week great, Mitch, you and I said it last week in our episode 6 commentary. We were like, okay, we're psyched about this again. This was way better than the first half of the season.
Yep.
But we were braced for, in week 7, we're going to have to repeat these areas again, aren't we? All of our goodwill is just going to evaporate.
Yeah.
But no, it was, again, all new play spaces. So with the last 2 weeks, it's been all new.
How willing are you next week to return to Chapter 6 areas? Like, are you ready to go back now, or are you dreading it still? Because at this point, I think I would be kind of okay if we went back to 1 or 2 of those.
Well, it's going to have to be, for me, it'll have to be in extreme moderation.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still very wary of it. My defenses are down a little bit now after this awesome week, but still got to be careful. About repeating too much. I mean, we're obviously not headed for any of the first half season stuff where it was just the same stuff week after week after week. That's clearly been put in the past. But it is important to try and keep it as fresh as possible. Now, it seems like we're at least, next week in Episode 8, we're at least going to start on Infinity. Because it just sort of, as you mentioned, it just sort of ends.
Maybe make our way down.
Maybe we have to
pods or something.
Pelicans.
We did see the, what are they called? The broadswords in the trailer for the whole season. Maybe that's how we get back down there.
You took the words right out of mouth. I was going to be like, maybe one of the first or second chapters next week will be a broadsword.
Oh my god.
That would be awesome.
Oh god, I've been wanting broadsword so much. Like you get that one little taste in the campaign.
Yeah.
And I feel like Spartan Ops is the perfect opportunity for the 4 of us to just wreck shop with 3 or 4 of those things.
Broadswords.
I don't want to see any spoiler. I don't want to see anybody whining about spoilers in the comments, by the way, because you should have finished the game.
Watch it. Yeah.
So, we're happy.
Yeah.
We have nothing negative to say.
We're all smiles.
No.
No,
this
episode was awesome.
Yeah.
It really, really, truly was great. And I've been getting asked on Twitter, because this was so good I was tweeting about it before we even came up here to record. So for those asking, those curious, maybe you got bored and you bailed on Spartan Ops after a couple weeks, and you hear us psyched for 7 and say, okay, I want to try that out. My advice to you would be go through, and you don't have to play every episode. Just watch, but go watch the cutscenes. So you just go to the menu and press Y to watch each episode's cutscene.
Those are definitely worth it.
definitely worth it, and then jump into 7
Yeah.
and see what you think.
If you play one episode, play 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
6, though, still pretty good.
We'll see what Week 8 brings. For Mitch Dyer and Destin Legary, I'm Ryan McCaffrey, your IGN Xbox crew. We'll see you next week.